Divine timing is the key to synchronicities. Synchronicities are those signs sent to you by the higher self to tell you that you are on the right path towards spiritual awakening. They can take the shape of repeated numbers. For instance, when I was on my twin flame journey, I would see the numbers 1111 repeated a lot. I would see 1313 a lot. I think the one that I saw the most was 2121. So I would see those numbers on TVs, at the gym. I would see it, of course, on my phone. I would see it, of course, on license plates, on clocks. And all those things were, for me, a reminder that I was on the right path. And this is slightly off topic, but usually when you do something that is right for you, meaning that you are doing something that is in alignment with who you truly are, you will experience a genuine sense of relief. That is another way for the higher self to tell you that you are on the right path. Back on the topic of synchronicities, and again, when I was on my journey, on my twin flame journey, I would see my twin's name everywhere. And what is interesting is that I think I told you in my twin flame video that my twin flame is American. And right now I am in France. And his name is not a very popular name in America to begin with, but his name is virtually never heard of. You will never see his name anywhere in France. And yet, I would see his name on screens, I would see his names on... I remember it was so strange. I was at the gym, and I think I was on the elliptical. And the guy next to me started talking on the phone, and he put his phone on the screen, the elliptical screen, and I remember looking at his screen, and the person he was talking to, his name was on the screen, and his name was my twin's name. And I was like, okay. So again, every single time I had doubts that I was on a twin flame journey, and I will repeat for what I said in my twin flame video, that the only goal of a twin flame journey, a twin flame relationship, is for you to go within and reach spiritual awakening. And so every single time I had doubt that I was on this journey, I would see my twin's name. I would see repeated numbers. Or, again, you will have to identify your own synchronicities. But for me, I would see pugs everywhere. Now you have to keep in mind that pugs in France are absolutely not popular. You almost never see pugs on the street. However, every single time I go out, even now that I am more or less done with my twin flame journey, you can never be off a twin flame journey, but the purpose of a twin flame journey, that is, spiritual awakening, is done for me. A spiritual awakening is, again, slightly off topic here. Just because you reached spiritual awakening doesn't mean that you will stay in this state forever. So every single time you think you are awakened, you have to, dare I say, work on it. Nothing is forever and for certain, right? And oftentimes, if you really think that you are awakened, life will find a way to humble you and remind you to go back within. So back to the topic of pugs that are virtually never seen on the street in Paris, in France in general. I would see them everywhere. And there is something that you have to know, something you have to understand, and the reason why I'm talking about pugs is that my twins' favorite dogs are pugs. He used to have a pug, and actually the first time I heard of pugs was in Boston when I was talking to him, and he was talking to me about his pugs. His pug, he only had one. And I had never heard the word before. I didn't know anything about pugs. I didn't know what they looked like, ever. So bearing that in mind, that pugs, at least in France, are pretty rare. I remember one day I was walking down the street, some street of Paris, and I saw on a wall a big poster, and the poster read Boston. And the numbers under the word Boston were my twins' birth date, the month and the day. So I remember stopping and staring at the poster, and then I looked down, quite possibly in disbelief, and guess what looked up at me? A black pug. There was a black pug at my feet, rubbing itself against my leg and then looking up at me. And then the owner, who was to my right, looked at me and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, she doesn't do that usually to anyone. I'm very sorry." So I told her that it was no problem and that she probably wanted to be pet. So I asked her if I could pet her dog, and she said, "Of course." So I petted the dog. And then, the pug, the black pug, and her owner went on their merry way. So those were 3 signs: Boston, my twins' birth date, and then a black pug. And I was like, okay, so if ever I was in doubt that I was on a twin flame journey, those signs were here, synchronicities sent to me by the higher self via divine timing, that I was indeed on a twin flame journey and that I had to go within. That this twin flame journey had happened for a reason. That if I had had doubts about the validity of my twin flame journey, those doubts were quashed, And so those doubts were not there to tell me, call your twin, reach out to him or something. No. They were just there to tell me that I was indeed on a twin flame journey. And that I had to do what you are supposed to do on a twin flame journey, is that to go within and discover who you really are. And, reach spiritual awakening. And so, of course, those synchronicities, those signs that I had on my twin flame journeys almost never stopped. So now that I am done with my twin flame journey, in that I went within and reached spiritual awakening. Again, just because you are there doesn't mean that you will be there forever. It's an everyday, not a battle, but an everyday reminder. Every day you have to remember who you are. Once you reach spiritual awakening, you're not good, home free forever. No, that's not how it works. And also, like I said, if I was as boastful or prideful to tell you guys that yes, I am awakened forever, I'm living Buddha or whatever, I think life would humble me right away. So that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that since I am more or less done with my twin flame journey, and that the goal of a twin flame journey is to go within and find spiritual awakening, I feel like those signs have decreased in intensity a little bit, but they're still very much present, right? And all the signs are there, in my case, now to tell me, remember who you are. Don't forget who you are. Remember who you are. Remember that you are one with everyone. Remember that you are unconditional love. Remember that you got there, that you got into the last leg of your spiritual awakening journey thanks to your twin flame. That he put you there. He pushed you towards that spiritual awakening. Don't forget that. Don't forget him. Don't forget to be grateful for everything in life, but also and especially for your twin flame. So all those signs, like I said, they're decreased a little bit in intensity. But again, yesterday I went out and guess, what crossed my path? A black pug. So yeah, those are signs to tell you, it's not usually, it's always. Synchronicities and signs are there to tell you that you are one with everyone. You are love. You come from love. And to go within. Because those signs are sent to you by the higher self through divine timing, meaning that when you need those signs, they will be sent to you. That is what divine timing is. Divine timing is also the reason why you will, as is my case, meet your twin in the most impossible way, right? And remember that the higher self is love and only love. Therefore, the higher self is not here to control you. But the higher self is here to guide you. And those synchronicities, those signs are what the higher self send to you in order to guide you and tell you you are on the right path. Continue, keep doing what you're doing good. So those are, that's the way I see synchronicities. That's the way I understood all the signs that I received during my twin flame journey and now. And I think we have to be grateful, because it is a way for the higher self to tell us that I have you. I have your back. I'm here to protect you. Don't worry. You got this. And so if you are aware, because that is what it is, you have to be very aware. If you are aware, every single time you are in doubt, look around you. And oftentimes you'll see signs that tell you, don't be in doubt. You are doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You are on the right path. And you will see all those signs and synchronicities sent to you by the higher self via divine timing. And you will truly realize that, wow, the higher self has my back. And since the higher self is you, well, you have your own back. You realize that life is magical like that, and it is so liberating to know that the universe has your back. The higher self has your back. Source has your back. And that is what I wanted to say about synchronicities and signs. Don't look for them, because if you look for them, you won't find them. Synchronicities and signs, are those things that appear when you don't look for them. So don't look for them, but try to be aware enough, especially when you are in doubt, when you feel bad, when you feel miserable. You'll see signs. They will come to you, and you'll realize that, okay, I'm on the right path. The universe has my back. I am so grateful. Gratitude, unconditional love. That is what move us. That is what lead us. That is again the only truth. Unconditional love. We come from it, we are it, and we go back to it when we leave this body. Unconditional love. The universe has your back. And it lets you know that through synchronicities.